morning to everybody. Being the first Singaporean speaker, I thought I'll just on behalf of Singapore welcome. I think a lot of friends that I see here from all over the world and visitors to this great city, and to wish you a good seminar over the next couple of days. Before I begin, what I'd like to do is I've just spent a couple of minutes to explain what the Sustainable Energy Association is, acronym called SEAS. This was launched in July 2006 when Singapore signed the Kyoto Protocol, something that most of us in the private sector was pushing. This was done in 2006, and was when we actually launched SEAS, and it was done by our Minister of Environment and Water Resources then. We have about 160 members, basically in the clean energy sector, including energy efficiency, carbon people, and very much involved in finance as well. We have quite a number of banks that are involved, that invest in clean energy or clean tech projects. And what is Cleantech Hub? Just very basically, this is an incubator that looks at supporting high-growth clean tech companies from all over the world, using Singapore really as a base to go into the regional markets. I'd like to thank Andrew for really making a plug for Asia, and that's something which I think all of you are here because you believe in the Asian market for clean tech. And we basically look at being a one-stop shop to help companies set up in Singapore and to help them access not only the Asian market, but helping them get themselves deployed within Singapore and to be able to tap various capitals that they need, basically to expand the company that they want to set up in this region, and even help in terms of getting capital for R&D investments. And both SEAS and the Asia Clean Tech Hub will be based out at the Clean Tech Park, which I think somewhere along the line, that's going to be a presentation. I see in the exhibition across, JTC will have a presentation on the Clean Tech Park. So those of you who are interested, I suggest you go and take a look. Okay, what I'd like to do today, basically in my presentation, is to convince you about the Asian market. And I think from what Andrew has done, he's really made it easy for me. The other thing is to convince you that if you're looking at the Asian market and looking for a place to set up, whether you are a clean tech company or you're an investor in clean tech companies, that Singapore is the place to be in. And before I go on, I'd just like to perhaps thank EDB for helping me put some of these slides together. Megatrends, Andrew has already mentioned that the growth in Asia in terms of affluence, in terms of urbanization, as you see in this slide, and the fact that population is growing as well, and that most of this population is maturing and aging, and a lot of it will be actually done within cities. That if you look at now the PPP, the purchasing power parity, out in Asia, that the ability to actually spend in terms of buying power for clean tech technologies, Asia, I think over the next 20 years would be the place to be in. So, if Asia is the place to be in, where should you be placed to actually tap this huge market? We believe it should be Singapore, and let me convince you over the next few minutes in my presentation why it should be Singapore. we walk the talk in terms of being clean and green, and you'll see from these figures that a lot has been done. We've gone global in terms of telling the world what we're going to achieve in terms of climate change targets. We just launched the National Climate Change Strategy about a month ago by our Deputy Prime Minister. And you see from these figures here that we are serious in terms of meeting these targets. As far as the ecosystem is concerned, we're already a water hub globally, and starting next week, actually in a few days, you will see that the Singapore International Water Week will attract large numbers of participants from all over the world to come to Singapore to discuss about water solutions, etc. We hope within the next 5 years or so to be a clean energy center for this whole region. And as far as the government is concerned, as you see from the figures there, from the investments they are currently putting in, and I'll illustrate in the slides ahead, they are looking towards a 3.4 billion growth in terms of value add in this sector, creating 18,000 jobs. Now, I mentioned about the global hydro hub. These are just a snapshot of all the companies that are here from all over the world, actually set up in Singapore to tap really the Asian market. You see a lot of them have set up in Singapore, using Singapore as a regional headquarters. Many of them are involved in R&D, tapping the R&D funds available from the Singapore government. And we hope that for the energy sector, this will also happen. As you can see from this slide, already there are quite a number of companies in the solar industry set up here in Singapore. And you're looking at the whole value chain in terms of the solar industry. You have the manufacturers, balance of system suppliers, etc., etc. And quite a number have already actually set up here using CERIS, the Solar Energy Research Institute of Singapore, as the basis to support them in terms of the R&D. So this is what will start everything going. And if you are looking basically at the whole infrastructure of the ecosystem in terms of clean energy, you see that many companies are already represented here, and that with the setup of the Cleantech Park, which is going to be launched very, very soon, and there are already a number of tenants within the first phase of the Cleantech Park. This will obviously grow in terms of the ecosystem that we're looking at starting up in terms of clean tech. This actually shows you that besides just the clean tech area, we also look actually at the much bigger picture in terms of urban solutions. A number of companies already started up. These are familiar names to many of you, and it shows that there's going to be depth in terms of what we'll be trying to provide out of Singapore as a total solution. Now, I think we all know that the key ingredients supporting any industry, and in this case, the clean tech industry, would be technology, markets, capital, and talent. And in the slides ahead, I'd just like to share with you what Singapore is actually doing in each of these areas, and to actually encourage you to basically also look at these areas if you're already involved in them. This is the money that the government is spending, and I think we all realize that whether you you are a technology company or you're one developing projects, money is the most important. I'll just quickly go through this. Research centers, I mentioned this before. We have perhaps the number of organizations that are world-renowned. We have partnerships that have been formed between the institutions that we have out here. I've mentioned CIRIS before, so you have within the NUS, for example, a center to develop environmental and water research, membrane technologies, and within NTU, another Institute of Higher Learning on wind and e-mobility. And then CIRIS, I mentioned before, they focus on solar and basically focusing on crystalline silica and thin film technologies. And on smart grid, we have another center set up within A-STAR itself. The whole of Singapore, this is a government decision that they decided to use Singapore really as a living lab, where we have already looked at test bedding a number of various technologies, from solar right down to the electric vehicle. This has already been started, urban mobility, with the companies that you see there. We have actually a multi-agency government body that actually looks at overseeing, or this is a task force that they've actually put together to promote the e-vehicle, the various companies, etc. This is a pilot in terms of the smart grid that has already started. In phase 1, you already have Accenture actually leading the consortium, and this is what's happening in phase 2. And in Jurong Island, to actually tap the various energies that are involved in the petrochemical complex. This is what the JTC has actually launched out on, in looking at how they can actually use the various energies developed within the island efficiently. And as I mentioned before, financing and money is probably one of the most important things, being a financial center in Singapore. We have banks that are supporting a number of projects within the region. They were basically looking at CDMs before, but currently now with the weak market, but they are still basically interested in financing such clean projects within the region. And obviously the VC and private equity companies, quite a number of them already based here, looking at investing. Singapore being an education hub, basically develops talents, and we've actually attracted quite a number of talents from all over the world that comes through. It's an easy and nice place to live in. And this is my last slide, and I hope I've convinced you that Singapore can be an excellent partner for all clean tech companies that look at setting up here. And really, if you are interested in developing further your technologies, looking at tapping the Asian market, as Andrew has said before as well, that this is going to be the future. And in terms of capital and talent, that can be provided as well. Thank you very much.